What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spreader? How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I don't know. I mean, it's heating up for you too, but it's heating up out here. I'm trying to get my exercise in the morning because it's a little less enjoyable to do it in the afternoon. But other than that, everything's great. The NBA playoffs continue, and we have some French Open action as well.
Yeah, my clock's all off, man. I've been having to get up at 2 in the morning watching these French Open games, and then it seems like with this being spring break, like all my homeboys want to come in town now. So I got someone in town every day, and I don't want to be rude. They travel way out here, so they expect to see me at least some. And man, it's a hectic schedule. On top of that, as you know, the wife's pregnant, and this has been a difficult first trimester for her, so she's been really in the bed almost the whole time. So I'm carrying a lot of different buckets of water right now. But I was built for it, so I'm sure I'll be okay. Let's get to yesterday's news. We had a really great last week. We went 7-1 last week. Let's touch real quick on Friday's game with that we won with you taking the total on the team total, excuse me, for the Warriors over 109.5. And I had the prop on Luka going over 31.5 because, as I said, I felt like it was a legacy game and he needed to make a statement for his brand. And we were able to do well on that. What did you think about you getting over that 109 with the Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really feel ever in doubt. Slow first quarter. I think they only scored 25, but it was just like I already knew the third quarter was going there. Warriors at home, one of the best bets in basketball. So I think what they scored 129. I mean, like we had it
Yeah.
like halfway through the fourth. So definitely happy to be on the right side of that one.
Yeah, definitely. And Luka was pretty easy, as I said. Believe me, he's a lot one of those guys who's worried a lot about his stats. So I knew that he would go over the number that they had after going on for 20 points. And we also gave out a bonus that we split. We were able to hit the Birmingham Stallions, who are pretty much the best team in the USFL. They covered the -7, but we did lose the Tampa Bay Bandits -3. Tricky number. I see it's kind of similar to the NFL. They're starting to catch up with it when they throw that 3 and 2.5 out there. You got to be careful. They end up losing straight up as favorites on that game. Let's review a little bit on last night's game. You want to bring in Noops? We got in the Vegas homie Noops. Let's get him to help us break down these games, and then we'll talk a little tennis.
We're
What's
not
up, the
hearing
mayor?
you.
My guy. How
I
you
think
That's
you're
doing, man?
okay.
muted.
What's happening, gentlemen? How we
There
doing?
we go. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Oh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Basketball continues. It's a shame. I mean, you guys talked about the game last night. It's really funky. I mean, Dallas, for whatever reason, can't seem to find their shot in this series. I mean, I think it was 13 for 45 or something from three. They're still turning the ball over a little bit. And it's not that Golden State's been bad. It just seems like Dallas has hit a little bit of a rough patch the last two games.
Yeah, what I got from last night, man, was Steve Kerr's a Hall of Fame coach that doesn't get enough credit. Steve Kerr's a hell of a coach, man. Um, Moody hasn't played all season. And look at the role he's playing all of a sudden now. He's mingling in Kaminga. He's gave Wiggins all his confidence. He posterized Luka last night for maybe the play of the whole playoffs. Hey, man, Steve Kerr, tip of the hat to him. He's been great at everything he's done, from being a player to being a broadcaster to being a GM, and now he's at the top of the top tier head coaches and on the way to Mount Rushmore if he can get a championship this year.
It'd be great for them. And I guess I'll ask you guys, if they go into the finals, I expect them to be, we saw the openers from Circa. I think they were small favorites over Boston and I think decent favorites over Miami. I mean, what would you make the Warriors in the finals against either one of those teams, Fred?
-125 against Boston, -150 against Miami.
Yeah, I think that's just about where the market was. What do you think, Andre? Should they be strong favorites or even underdogs
Yeah.
to either one of those teams?
It's a war of attrition in the East. They're not going to have enough healthy bodies. Once again, the Warriors, kind of like their other championship run, have had a great run of running into teams now that are injured after they get through the West. If they can get to the finals, they'll be kind of in the same situation they were when they faced LeBron when they were injury riddled. I don't see, honestly, unless the Celtics get a lot healthier, I don't see the Celtics being able to even compete with them, and I for sure don't think Miami can compete with them. So it's the Warriors championship to lose.
Yeah, so maybe that takes us to tonight's game. The spread's pretty big here. Boston, I think, deserves to be. It looks like there's 6, almost 7-point favorites now. I took the Heat with the points. I think this is a competitive series. I'm a little surprised the spread is as big as it's been in every single game. Boston is the better team, especially at home. It looks like Smarts probably will play. I don't necessarily know if I want Robert Williams to play. That's a weird little wrinkle to add mid-series, and I don't know if it helps him out. I mean, what do you guys think happens tonight?
Warriors spread.
This series, I'm like done with it as far as betting. After game 2, I was done, right? I came on, I said, me against the world. Miami's this great team. You guys are underrating Miami. They don't have the individual pieces, but they do so much stuff as a team. They clog the passing lanes, and I just felt stupid, right? And then everything that I said came to fruition on, what was that, Saturday night? And it was just like, oh my gosh. So it feels like it's a zigzag, right? It feels like the Milwaukee series where one team looks good and one team looks bad. And I know, right? We talk with a lot of people that are really high on Boston, Noops. But one of the things that I think is their inability to put forward 2 games in a row. Now, I know they did it against Brooklyn, right? But since then, it's just, for them to come out and lose the way that they did in that first quarter, and I'm sure that you guys have both seen the stat because it's been thrown around. But the reason it's been thrown around is because it's so mind-numbing. The fact that Miami's won 2 quarters and they're 2-1. They've won 2 quarters, right? So
that's why they won't
like,
win the series.
it's just, but it's inexcusable on Boston's part. So even if Boston wins this, and I know we talked to some people who don't think who are going to want to take the Eastern side in this finals. I don't believe in this team yet, and boy. I might be wrong because I didn't believe them in round 1 and I didn't believe them in round 2. So it's not like, I'm the perfect prognosticator on this, but I have problems believing in Boston. But I guess just from what I've seen, I'm going zigzag and I like Boston tonight. But I'd be curious to see why you like the Heat because I don't know. Like I said, I'm already a little bit flummoxed on how to approach this.
At the end of the day, if you go back and look, the only game Boston won is a game they shot 50% from 3 in. All the rest of the games have been a little bit closer, but a little more drag out, which is what Miami wants to do. And at the end of the day, I think Spoelstra is the big advantage here. I mean, Boston has all these singular talents, and although Al Horford can kind of be the point guard they need from time to time, they just get into these ruts where Tatum's taking the ball going 1 against a double team. Brown's taking the ball going 1 against a double team. There's just not a lot of fluidity there. And if they can't score points, Miami's happy to make this kind of a knockout, drag down series and just grind things out here. I mean, Butler only plays 20 minutes in the last game. They lose Hero for the second half of it. And all postseason, we've seen teams lose stars mid games and collapse, not really be able to figure out what to do. Miami turned around and won the stinking game. I mean, they've been really impressive. And I think at the end of the day, Boston probably has the better star players in Tatum and Brown, but with what Miami's able to do as a whole and with the way that Spoelstra's been able to use, Bam and some of those pieces defensively, I just think it's kind of their series. And it might be long. I just think Miami ends up getting out of it. And I just look at my numbers here. I have this closer to 4 or 5. I don't know why this is more than 2 possessions.
Yeah, I'm
I got to push back on that. I don't agree with that.
I'll let you push back. All I want to say is I'm surprised we have a regular season style injury report. I thought we were done with all that. I mean, it's like, we got so many players. So go ahead, push back. Let's hear it. I know that you really
my
like
pushback
Boston.
on that is one. You made a great point spread with the quarters. How many of the quarters Boston won? They pretty much dominated the series anytime they take good shots or if they're making threes. The problem, they've been a little bit too 3-ball centric. They're worried about shooting a 3. They need to take advantage of the talent description more. Coach Udoka has done a fabulous job all year. They haven't lost back-to-back games. I preached that over and over on this show all since January spread that the Celtics make the best adjustments in the NBA. They haven't lost back-to-back games with their starting lineup all 2022, and I don't expect it to happen tonight as well because they learn from what they did wrong and they adjust to it. You got a Tyler Hero's missing for Miami tonight. It's pretty much, like I said, a battle of attrition. They got a lot of people hurt, but Tyler Hero's huge. He's pretty much carries that bench when he comes in, and then you're dealing with you still don't know about Butler. And what you were saying about Butler leaving last game, by the time he left, Celtics made a run and got the game down to like where they actually had a chance in the fourth quarter. But think about it, they came into the fourth quarter down 15 points. So, I mean, even though Butler was gone, he had a pretty big cushion for Miami to work with, So they only had to do was just kind of hold serve in the fourth quarter in order to keep that victory because they got ahead so much in the first half. And I expect exactly the opposite tonight. I see the Celtics coming out on fire and very motivated tonight. Like I said, you got Butler dealing with a knee injury. You got Lowry with a hamstring, Vincent with a hamstring, PJ Tucker's hurt. You got Strus has a hamstring problem. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics mash the gas early and Spoelstra pulls off the gas a little bit tonight and feels like, hey, we got the home field advantage back. Now let's just defend home court in Miami. Let's get healthy because it's going to be a long series. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what happens there tonight. It sounds like, again, we all kind of like the Warriors once they do get to the finals. It'll be fun. Opposite sides. Did you have anything on this game tonight, Spread, or you just hands up, you're done?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of these teams. I mean, if I do end up playing it, I'll probably be on the Boston side because the zigzag seems to be right. As bad as they look, they always look great. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're up like 18-8 after 4 minutes in this game, and Tatum's 4 for 4, and everyone who captains him in DFS is gonna be running around thumping their chest. But I still like Miami as a team better, and so that's why it's really tough for me to make a pick here.
I said, remember I told you, Spread, I think it's the Bucks series all over. Zigzags, and then the Celtics winning 7 in Miami. That's what I see happening.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so tough to even forecast that so far because who's going to stay healthy, right? I mean, Marcus Smart, right? So I think Tatum's going to play, right? If he was able to come back in.
Tatum's probably.
He has a finger.
Can we talk about these Boston players going full WWE and like acting like they've been tombstoned by the Undertaker and then coming back and playing 2 seconds later? I mean, it started with Paul Pierce, but this is just getting out of hand here with
it's
the
Marcus
theatrics
Smart,
from the Boston
man.
side.
That's Marcus Smart doing that mess, man.
Tatum did the same thing too.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's teaching them. He's the one that's leading them to doing this mess.
I guess watch Marcus Smart in some WrestleMania action. I think he'd be good.
Yeah. What else you got to do?
I think that's all we got. And then, we're talking about the French Open. I'm sure you guys have been doing picks and stuff. It's obviously tough with matches happening right now, but I thought maybe we'd talk a little bit about our handicapping style since I know each of us focus on a little different area. I generally do a lot of pre-match stuff. Andre, I know you hit stuff live a lot, and Spread's been focusing on DFS. And just curious to hear, kind of what some of your strategies have been so far and how you guys are kind of planning for the next 2 weeks. For me, I spent a lot of time looking at what your historical success has been on these courts and then actually the tournament in Rome. One of the big differences in tennis is trying to figure out the courts. So not only hard and clay, but is it clay? Is it the same clay? Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? There's a lot of people, I think, and a lot of value, honestly, I've found kind of fading people who were good in Stuttgart and Madrid a few weeks prior because you're looking at events that are indoors, they're in altitude, and you just get here and you get to Rome. That ball's heavy, that clay's much heavier, and it's just hard for certain players to adjust. So I've been looking at that, found a little bit of value so far on some of the underdogs. I think maybe the books are looking to do some parlay protection here a little bit. You get some nice juicy numbers, and set unders have been great. I think if you're looking at stuff like, second sets and things like that, those numbers have been super low, but overall it's been a pretty competitive tournament. Again, I think it's a really good spot here early for underdogs. Then as things start to settle in, numbers are starting to tighten up. And I'll probably go back to betting some favorites. Now, Spread, why don't you talk a little bit about DFS? And I mean, how have you been doing? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is tough for people like me who do multiple sports this first round. I think people like you who are really good with the numbers, right, which can give you a little overview easier. And then people, right, like our other co-host, John, who focuses on tennis specifically. So they see a lot of these players because, let's be honest, every other tournament we watch has a field of 64. Now we're up to 128, right? So I'm looking at some of these players, right? Like Jean. Who's Jean playing? Right? We were chatting about it. Anyways, Elisa Giacomo, right? There's these players that are Elsa, excuse me, that I don't know a lot about. So these first rounds are tough for me. So what I'm doing is, of course, we know people are going to crush. Like, for example, I think in DFS, you use the fact that, we have a great network. to find these underdogs, and that allows you to spend up for like Iga and Rafa, people that we know are absolutely going to crush. But from the betting perspective, you hit the nail on the head with the parlay liability, and I'll go ahead and give that one out because I wasn't really strong on the basketball, right? Let's look at Simona Halep versus Nastasia Shunk. Right now, let's be honest. I think I've watched one Nastasia Shunk match, and in fact, I had to reach out to our good friend Vinny to get a scouting report on Shunk before I watched that match. Right? But it's the same deal, right? Simona's going to win. She's going to win. So what's the line? It's like minus 3,000, right? Because they don't want you to just load up Simona in your parlay and get it up to be really, lucrative, right? They're going to make you say, hey, you're going to put like 10 of these in there to even get to, minus 200. But because it correlates that way, now I got a total of 17. So that means 6-3, 6-2, and I push. So I'm going over in that match, Halep and Shunk. And the idea is Shunk's a young up-and-coming player. I think she will be, in the top 100, top 50, in the next couple of years as she continues to develop. And as we've seen, as this tennis landscape continues to evolve, these players in the 50 to 100 are way closer to the top 10 than they used to be. So, I mean, Halep's going to win. She's going to move on. But, I mean, a 6-3, 6-3, and I cash, I'll take it. I mean, if I get to 6-4 in the first set, I'm set, So I'm going to take Halep, Shunk over 17 games.
I like that. Look, there was a couple totals I had tomorrow. Doi over. I forget who Doi's opponent is. That looks like a match that's going to go on for a long time. And then Krunic Rakimova looking over there as well. Now, Andre, you said you're up at 2 a.m. in the morning watching tennis. I mean, what are you looking for when you pick up your phone and you make that click? I mean, what sticks out to you? What are you trying to do when you're attacking some of these live markets, which can be really profitable? I mean, it's a great way to not only find a better price than pre-match, but take advantage of what an algorithm doesn't know what's going on.
I actually haven't been playing as many live matches as I have. I guess I've been crushing them too hard because now Vegas isn't even allowing any women's live matches on any book except for Boyd. Nobody else. Stations doesn't give it anymore. Caesars William Hill took it down. Now it's only men. You only can play the men. We specialize in the women. Don't get me wrong. We know a little men's tennis, but we've been all betting WTA forever. We enjoy betting the women more than the men. And so they took that little advantage from it. And then, I told you guys about 4 or 5 years ago, they took the sets on the over and unders on the sets right away. So I guess I'll be having to get a spread to put in some bets for me on those overs and unders and things when you guys are seeing that, because I don't even have an opportunity to play them, man. Unfortunately, here Vegas is so strict on the tennis market because they don't want you to win. They're so determined to make sure that they get a profit that they try to take away all things that are liabilities for them, and tennis is a huge liability for them. My approach has been this French Open, and I've done pretty well. I load up my little parlays with a couple of the favorites along with some dogs, but I've been betting heavy on dogs straight, and the dogs have been coming through. It's a lot of pressure for some reason on these girls and these guys in this tournament, and we've been seeing a lot of upsets, man. A lot of people. Look at Pari. There's no way that Diane Parry is supposed to beat Krejcikova. We know that.
But I will go back to my earlier point. The number 70 is way closer to number 5 than it used to be. And I think that before we came on, Isla beat Kontaveit. And I would just say, I love Kontaveit. She's not that much better than Isla. But a normal person's going to look, number 5's of course she's going to win.
I had Tom Jonovich. I just won that one. And the reason why it was a small bet, it was only a 1% bet. But the reason why I bet it was because I'm watching the numbers offshore, and I'm like, damn, she's steadily dropping. Then I looked at the past history. Everything's been 2-1, 2-1. And as we know, remember, we just were speaking about Kontaveit spread. I don't know why she's lost her swing for some reason. She hasn't been playing well at all, man. She hasn't been playing.
We're outdoors again.
Yeah. She's not playing well at all, man. So my thing is,
her and Alexandrova need to start their own indoor tour.
Dude,
the best players ever.
There's a lot of things coming together, right? So you guys make great points about everything's getting tighter. The distribution is as much, and this is a hard tournament. That's why I talk a lot about this in Rome, because you go back and look. There's not a lot of good tournaments before here to compare your clay performance to. You have the Charles tournament, which is basically a hard court event. Madrid's played at altitude, which is physically different. The clay is lighter, the ball's flying. Again, you're indoors when you're in Stuttgart, and I think there's a lack of understanding of the difference not only between those courts, but you also have some stuff. I mean, players carrying through really good hard court seasons and things like, with all due respect to you, Spread, I don't know what to make of this Ostapenko number. I mean, she hasn't won a match in like her last 4 or 5 tournaments.
Bronzetti or pass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's a strong favorite because I don't think the market knows how to adjust that number either for her, for what she's been doing. And again, they know they're going to take bets on it. So there's a lot of opportunity with the dogs. Again, just look for surface specialists and things like that. But I'm with you. I like Bronzetti. I won't take the spread or the over like you talked about because there's 3 outcomes, right? Bronzetti wins, Ostapenko loses, or Ostapenko wins by a ton. I mean, you look for opportunities like that. It's definitely the dogs early.
Kerber's fighting right now for her life, and she just won a tournament on clay. And now look, she's about to lose to Fritz. You know what I mean? Another terrible player. It's just like you said, it's not a big difference between the bottom players right now and the top. That's why I made a pretty large bet, larger than I usually make, on a Swiatek to win the French Open. They had her for -110. Now it was with the -120 yesterday. I think now it's probably going to be way more than that after they're seeing what's going on with all of these girls that are in the top 25 getting knocked out. But I got her, like when they first put it up, it was Swiatek against the field -110. That was a great bet. So I was like, I'm out on this. This is the best number I'm gonna ever get on her because nobody's gonna beat her, man. She's gonna mow all these chicks like her. And then on the men's side, you got to think Rafa and of course Alcaraz. And as you made a great point last time on here on Noops, we just see if Alcaraz can deal with the 5-setter. So it's out. I feel like him, Djokovic, and so it's just the top dogs. All these other players are just pretty much just playing each other out. So it's just best to go on and take the plus money anytime you can get it, so you can get a value if it's a close match. If it's between 2 players that you can't really decide on, take the plus money, man. At this point right now, that's a much better value. And then just load up on the favorites winning the tournament because they're going to get there. It's nobody going to stop them. It's no pushback from anybody because look at all of the people who are kind of good enough to play with them. They're losing early. They're losing in the first and second rounds right now.
Yeah, it's some of the names so far to drop out have been pretty surprising. And like you said, I agree. As it gets longer, some of the favorites tend to be a little bit better, and I like betting the spreads there. But that's all I got, gentlemen. Any questions for me?
I got a question for you, man. What y'all gonna do in Philadelphia? Are you gonna re-sign Harden? I know you got the direct number to the.
Well, we have him. We already have him for another year. He took an option, so we've got Harden for next year. Maury says Glenn Rivers is coming back. So if at first it doesn't succeed, and if at second it doesn't succeed, try it again.
Hey, where's the emoji with the puke face? Somebody throw that up on the screen right now. I just can't. But hey, all the thing that you can hope for, and I'm hoping for you as a Sixers fan, is that what Pat Bev said is Harden's a prideful dude, and he was embarrassed that maybe he'll do like CP3 did and go get back in shape and really hoop all summer and get himself back on point. You don't think so, Spread?
Well, back in shape. Has he ever been in shape?
Right.
He was in shape in Houston.
He was in super shape in Houston, man.
He was thin back then.
He was chiseled. I was in the section one time with him. We talked to each other for maybe 5-10 minutes at this club that we both used to go to. It surprised me. I was thicker than him. Dude, I was thicker than him at the time. He was lean as shit, but he was, he's swole, but he was lean, man. He was lean, but not anymore. He has a lot of vodka pudge on him now.
I think that's the issue, though. I think you're much more likely to run into him in the club than the gym.
Oh, man. Oh. What about the Drew League? Maybe the Drew League. We'll see with the Drew League, right?
That's enough.
Noops, hey, man, we love you. We'll talk to you soon, man. Have a great week.
All right. See you guys.
Yep.
All
right. Let's give out this pick here real quick. And
we're all on the same one. We ain't doing too much on this one today, man. It's getting a limited schedule. We're winding down.
Yeah. And hey, for the bonus, if you want to parlay it, do that Halep over that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I just didn't put it on the bottom of the screen.
Halep and what was the girl?
Her name is Shunk. I think it's a cool name. Beautiful name here. Nastasia Mariana Shunk. The last name's ugly, but the first two, that's just beautiful. Great
Where
job
is she from? What country?
She's a German player.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So like I said, 6'3", and I cash. So
okay, what is it, 19 and a half or something?
It's over 17.
Oh God.
Halep's minus 3,000 to beat her.
They think she's gonna 6-1, 6-0 her, huh?
Yeah. So
and I don't see that happen. Halep don't serve good enough to do that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's our bonus play there.
Man, we're on Boston tonight, -6. We already said it's been a seesaw series. Don't be surprised if the Celtics win by 30 tonight. You
I mean,
know,
Tatum's bipolar.
yeah.
I'll bet you he's going to look like, the second coming of Kobe again tonight. He'll probably drop
Yeah.
40 something. And
When
the
is he
last game,
gonna
I mean, he
start
looked
taking
bad.
better shots?
Pardon?
When is he gonna start taking better shots and
He's
using
not.
his
He's in
6'10"
from that Kobe
frame?
Academy where he wants to just make all these highlight looking shots.
Every shot he takes, he makes
He's like
sure
a
that he has a
contested jumper. Yeah.
defender in his face and pulling up. Now I can understand when the clock's running out, you know what I'm saying, to take these shots. But dude, when it's plenty time, y'all within the offense, and that got to be. And I know that I always talk about how much I like Udoka, but man, he has to do a better job of getting him in positions where he's forced to.
Well, if
make
you saw
plays.
it compared to the beginning of the year, he's already done a hell of a job. The beginning of the year
that's
was
true.
terrible.
That
When him
is
and
true.
Jalen were just sitting there ISOing all day, and the other three guys are like,
And look, then
"Hey,
they
bro, we're on the
ISO
team."
and pull 3-pointers.
Yeah, step back
Like,
threes. That's they all think they're
what are you
hardened.
doing?
If
Like,
your name
you're in
ain't
the
James and
ISO,
your name ain't Luca, don't be doing that.
dude. You're in the ISO, but you're still just dribbling around just to shoot a
Yeah.
three. That doesn't make sense. Like, that's
Yeah.
a low percentage shot. Use your size, get to the rack, use your quickness and athleticism, Jaylen Brown. Get to the rack, draw some fouls, pump fake, make someone foul you a little bit. You know, like Jason Tatum is 6'10". I don't think a lot of people know that, like, because he plays
Yeah.
like 6'4". You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I just hope that he does that. And speaking of Luka, Luka deserves a lot of blame. We're talking about the others. As you saw last night, I'm starting to put Luka in the category spread with Harden Houston. I'm starting to put him in that category. He's always been his comp. He doesn't want what star wants to play with him the way he's pounding the ball? Who are they going to get to want to play beside him when we see he's a
If
ball
you look
hog?
at the numbers, I could pull it up right now. Let me just pull this up for you right now.
Okay.
And these are going to be why I think Jalen Brunson is gone. I'll pull it up for you right now. Where was that? My buddy sent that to me this morning. All right. So here we go. This is he sent me a lot of stuff. Where's the good stuff? Man, maybe it was on text.
Luka pounds the ball too much. He pounds the ball too much, and his assists aren't winning the game. They're just like Harden. They're just assists. That's just for stats, man. It's not. At the end of the day, he's really just a one-on-one player, and I just cannot see any star in the league wanting to come play beside him with the style that he's playing right now.
All right, I found it. So this is Maverick stats while Brunson's on the court. Okay. When Luka's on with him, the team has an offensive rating of 112 and a defensive rating of 130. Okay. When Luka's off the court, but Jalen Brunson is on, and this is only for this series, and it's only a 26-minute sample here, but their offensive rating is 136 and their defensive rating is 100. Because basketball is a team game. And as great as he is, he's going to have to figure this out. And I'm not saying he's not going to figure this out. We're old enough to remember Jordan used to do this in 85, 86. Everyone that's old acted like Jordan's career started in 1990. No, he was jumping like 33 and 34 and not trusting his teammates either.
He used to suck with his decision making.
I
remember that.
I'm going to go to the rack or I'm going to shoot. He didn't used to involve his teammates either. And it took Phil Jackson to get there before he understood that this is a 5-on-5, not a 1-on-5.
They fired Doug Collins because Doug Collins attempted to try to get everyone involved. He even knew that he liked stats so much that he moved Jordan to point guard. Remember that year?
Yeah.
Just so he could try to, maybe that'll make him pass the ball. It still didn't.
Still didn't. Yeah. So,
believe me, we've seen this before. But as you said, some people mature and get out of it. Unfortunately for Harden, he got rid of CP3 too quick. If he'd have kept CP3, he might would have got him a ring. But now it's going to be a long journey. Now he's playing a different type of style, but he doesn't have the game that he used to have when he had the opportunity. So we'll hope that Luka takes his body more serious, gets in shape, and stop pounding the rock, man. You got teammates for a reason. Learn how to play with them. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We're looking for our 18th of 19 winning weeks. Follow my guy Spread at Spread Astaire on Twitter. Follow me at 5-Star in Vegas. Put out the 5. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is Spread Astaire. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is 5-Star in Vegas Sports Investments. Please subscribe to SCOON TV. We're here every Monday through Friday. Best of luck to y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.